Hi folks, welcome to this edition of Broken Arrow in Motion Take 5. I'm City Manager Michael Spurgeon, and I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. I'm very excited about today's segment because we have with us today the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Municipal League, Mike Fina. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Michael. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Municipal League with us today because this is a great opportunity for our community to learn more about the Oklahoma Municipal League and what it does for the city of Broken Arrow and all the cities in the state of Oklahoma. So Mike, let's start off with my first question is going to be is tell the folks in Broken Arrow and around the state a little bit more about OML.
Sure. Well, the Oklahoma Municipal League has been around for over 100 years, and our sole function is to support all of Oklahoma's cities and towns. That's what we were chored to do, or tasked to do by our fathers that created the OML, and I feel like we've lived up to that to be able to provide extra support to our community. So,
well, you know, having been around OML for about 20 years now, I know that you really have several different functions to where you have advocacy for cities. You also provide membership services. So talk a little bit more about the different areas.
Well, we do have two distinct areas in OML. We are the municipal primary lobbying source for all municipalities, and then we have our member services, which we also have a statutory authority to train all newly elected municipal officials. So those are the three areas that we concentrate on, but there's so many moving parts that go into all those different areas. So.
Okay, so when did you start as the new executive director?
I started June 5th of last year, so I haven't been here quite a year yet.
So your role as executive director, who's your boss?
Well, you're my boss, Michael. So that's
I'm one of them.
We have a board that is made up of city managers and statewide, or not statewide, but elected municipal officials, and our board is made up so it encompasses our largest cities all the way down to our smallest cities, and so they actually set the direction for the agency, and then I execute that. So.
Excellent. So just a little more specific, we have districts?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have different districts that encompass the state, and then also some different size municipalities that also would represent that. So
the way it's set up is, which I think is great, is that every district has a representative, which means you have larger cities, you have some medium-sized and smaller cities, and everybody basically meets on a regular basis and gives you ideas and suggestions and direction on how to move the organization forward.
Absolutely, and I think that's important because it all works together. It doesn't matter if you're Broken Arrow or you're Moreland or Guymond. We all have our part in the democratic process in making Oklahoma better. And making government function properly in the state. So.
Well, that's what I like. I mean, we meet on a regular basis, whether you actually can come to the meeting or you can conference call in. You go around the table and you look at the dedication, in my opinion, that exists amongst the mayors and city managers. I mean, everybody there has the same agenda, in my opinion, and that is they want their city, their town, and this state to be better. And you can just hear the passion that everyone has towards making their city and our city great. And what are your thoughts about that?
Well, you know this, and we can share with the viewers that I was the mayor of Piedmont, and when I was the mayor of Piedmont, I was very active in OML, and that was what drew me to the organization. It wasn't the lobbying part. It was more getting to go to the meetings and all of the events that OML puts on and meet with other mayors and city managers and city councilmen, talk about our issues, talk about our failures and our successes, and being able to share those and get ideas and bring them back to my community. And I thought that was such an important function in municipal government for us to be able to have those honest conversations with one another.
I mean, really, we all have citizens and we all have businesses, and trying to do the best for them and make sure we advocate for them, I think, is important. All right, so you've been on the job since last June. What have you been focusing on?
This is never an easy conversation to have with folks, but I've been rebuilding. I mean, I never speak ill of anyone else. I try not to, but there were some problems in the organization when I got there, and we were going through some changes. Now, I inherited some really great things. We're a financially sound organization. So when you're a new manager, that's always the first concern. So I didn't have the financial worries, but I had the management of the programs and the things that OML has done very well for 100 years and lost sight of for a little while. And I really wanted the organization to get back to being member-centric. I wanted us into the communities. I want to be here in Broken Arrow. I want to be in other communities. We lost sight of that a little bit. Not for long, but we're back. And now that's why I'm here in Broken Arrow today and why I'll be in another city tomorrow and moving on around the state. So.
Well, I think that's important that you're out there because, as I've told you and I've expressed to the board, I think your position as executive director is so important to our state because in so many levels, whether it's the local level, state level, or federal level, you have the opportunity to represent us. I mean, we're a part of the organization, and to me, it's so important that we have somebody that has that vision that can go out and can represent Oklahoma and Oklahoma cities and where we'd like to be. Right. And so how important is advocacy to you in our role and you personally?
Oh, I mean, it's probably the most important thing that we do. I mean, to be able to be the advocacy part as far as membership in cities working with one another, I think it's the core thing that we do and that we provide. And I always describe OML as the glue between the cities that brings us together. Because otherwise, without an organization like OML, and Broken Arrow would sit here and they would take care of Broken Arrow's issues. And you just, after a while, you tend to get a little bit of tunnel vision in your own city. And there's times that you, as a city manager or Mayor Thurman, need to step outside of Broken Arrow so you can look and have a broader view. And that's what OML helps you do that through either our annual conference. I was with your mayor last week in Washington, D.C. at a national conference where he and I got to work together and talk about infrastructure issues and things that now he and I are both bringing back. You know, he's bringing back to Broken Arrow, but he's also now an advocate for infrastructure projects for every municipality. So I'll be calling on him to help me with that effort. So those are just some of the cogs that we turn in OML. So.
Well, we were talking about that before we went on camera, that you were actually out there advocating with Senator Langford, for example, yes. and Congressman Russell. Mm-hmm. I mean, how did that go?
It was fantastic. I mean, there's very little from a municipal standpoint that we take from Washington, D.C., but there's a critical piece in the infrastructure money that we have to make sure it flows from D.C. to Oklahoma, not just Oklahoma, but to Oklahoma municipalities. And I think that is a key role that we play from a municipal standpoint to make sure that that money is flowing into Broken Arrow and into Piedmont and Oklahoma City and Tulsa for that matter. So I feel like they get it. I feel like when we met, either we met with the staff or directly with every one of our congressional delegation, and I think they get it. And they understand that importance. And we need to make sure as we're sending folks to D.C. that they understand that infrastructure piece is very important to municipalities.
I absolutely agree with you. Now, as a new executive director, I know some of the great things that you've done so far, and you've just kind of subtly and slowly made putting the Mike Fina on things. Right. So what are some of the things that you've done to improve the organization?
Well, the two key areas that I'd like to focus on, the first thing that we did is we created a field staff program, and it's a good segue from the congressional discussion because it turned out that I inherited a former Senator Coburn staff member at OML when I got there, and I always liked Senator Coburn's field program. I got to work with them as mayor and then working in state government, and I always felt like he did it very well. So it was a blessing to have her on staff. Her name is Cheryl Adams. And I just went to her and I said, Cheryl, I want a field program and I want it to work like Dr. Coburn. So I need you to do what you did there and help me build that in OML. So that was our first thing. We've got staff members that are assigned to every single municipality in the state. And their sole function is to be that conduit between whatever municipality and OML. And we want to take as much information from you as we want to provide to you, and that there should be that free flow of information. So the field program, and I underestimated how quickly that program was going to take off because now I have city managers and mayors that are daily talking to their field rep, and they're providing us things that we take back through our inquiry system, trying to solve problems in municipalities. So it has been a huge success. We've even had to recently dedicate a new staff member to it just to keep up with it. The other area that I think that we were lacking was our communications. I think that for 100 years we've done a poor job conveying to our municipalities what's going on, we're probably pretty good at legislative advocacy, but all of those membership services things we haven't done a good job at. So I've recently hired a new communications director, a very seasoned communications director. Her name is Kay Hunt. She was at Midwest City prior to coming to OML. I did not steal her. I called Guy at Midwest City, and I made it very clear that if he didn't want me to take her, that I wouldn't. But he actually said to me, Mike, I think that Kay is exactly what OML needs. So I was very excited. She has a lot of video experience, which we're adding now to taking after Broken Arrow, and we're adding that to our communications repertoire. And then she was also at one time the head of Frontier Country. I can't remember what tourism country we're sitting in right now, but you're probably familiar with the tourism countries. So she has that experience too, and I think that little bit of tourism is we need that promotional stuff. So very excited about the changes in our communications structure.
Well, I can tell you, your field rep program, I absolutely love it. I mean, I know most of the employees that work for you and for OML. I can't leave here without mentioning a couple of people. Good. I mean, Nancy. Nancy's I've known
fantastic.
Nancy for a couple of years. We went to a conference together a couple of years ago. Got to know her and her passion and dedication. Jamie's been there for many, many years.
Always there with a hey, darling.
Yeah, she's been there. Missy, Missy has always been involved with the legislature and right. with the cities for many years. She may be moving on sometime very soon, and you're going to have to figure out how to fill her shoes. MJ Barton.
Yes, she's a new hire.
I noticed something recently. She went to North Miami. To actually honor a mayor that was retiring, which I thought was really cool because I knew the mayor when I was a city manager in Miami. And so to see you all up there showing, honor and respect for somebody that did a great job for his community, that was really cool.
She had so much fun doing that trip. She stopped in cities, and her cities that she represents, all the way going up there. She even had lunch with the mayor of Henrietta. I think that was as rewarding for her to just take that trip. So, and that's what I want all our field reps to, and that kind of experience. It's fun. This is a fun job. I love traveling to communities and doing this.
Well, it is, and we all need help. I mean,
yes.
Whether you're Broken Arrow, whether you're a smaller community, I really do see OML as being that glue to where if folks need help, they can reach out to you about a personnel issue or a legal issue. I mean, you've got a very competent staff to be able to provide some guidance to help city councils make decisions about something that they maybe hadn't been familiar with or faced with. All right, so we're right in the middle of the legislative session, yes. And you're right in the throes of that. So how's it going?
Actually, I can't say that it's actually going very well. Here's my frustration with OML's legislative efforts, and I guess my frustration with the legislature. We're always on defense. I was an offensive player. I like the idea of having wins and scores, but we're always on defense, and we're always fighting preemption bills that the legislature puts up there, and basically a preemption bill will erode local control and your council's ability to govern Broken Arrow. So every time we see something that has preemption language on it, we have to fight it, and they're doing it more and more. Which is strange to me because I hear our same legislators yelling at Washington, D.C. saying, local control, you can't erode local control, yet they come to us and they're eroding our local control. So we have several bills out there right now that would do that, and so we're fighting those. I want to get to a point in our legislative efforts where we are such a strong organization that we can go on the offense and we're not always on the defense. And I always say this when I speak, that our legislators need to understand this, and our city council members need to understand this, that the same people that elected Mayor Thurmond or any one of your council members are the same people that elected those legislators. We're on the same team, so we've got to be able to work together.
Well, I just want to thank you with regard to advocacy. The city has a lobbyist. We share a lobbyist
yes.
with the Broken Arrow Chamber. Lisa Smalago, I got to send a shout out to Lisa. She does a great job of representing us, and I want to thank you for embracing her and as a part of a member of your team in terms of involving her in some things that are important to Broken Arrow, and Missy reaching out to her and keeping her informed. And I just want to send a shout out to her, Lisa, and also to thank you. We're getting short on time, so let me just ask you this, maybe one more question or two. I mean, what's your vision for OML, and how can the cities around the state and the elected officials help the board and you with implementing this vision?
Well, here's my vision for municipalities, and this is a passion of mine, and I strongly believe this, that the stronger the municipalities are, the stronger the state's going to be, and we need our state leaders to understand that. So I want to make our municipality so strong that it improves the state of Oklahoma, and I think you share that idea with me, that is an actual attainable reality. We have some education to do, we have some building to do, but we're going to do it, and it'll make Oklahoma better.
Well, I've had the ability to work in a couple different states as a city manager in my 30-year career, and to me, without question, Oklahoma has some of, if not the best people in the country, and I say that with the utmost earnest and sincerity. And I think that they want strong leadership. They want an effective leadership at the federal, state, and local level. And I think it's our responsibility to work closely with those people in those elected positions to make sure we advocate, to talk about what's important to our citizens, because we have the pulse as the cities about what our citizens are thinking, and we need to convey that to them, because I think we all have the same goal in mind, is trying to make Oklahoma as great as we possibly can be.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, before we go, we have to share to everybody on the that's watching the segment about the connection we have.
We
so
do.
why don't you go ahead and share that?
Well, we're related through our Great Danes. They are brother and sister, Luna and Bodie.
That's
so
right.
We picked them. I think I picked up Bodie
Yes,
just a few days before you picked up Luna, and I got to see Luna, and she's gorgeous. And now they're both about 100 pounds.
Yeah, about 100 pounds. They turned 8 months this past Monday, and so we're going to throw a picture of both of them up on the screen because we're proud furry fathers.
Yes, we are.
Fathers of furry kids, I should say.
Yeah,
so,
it's
but
a
yeah,
lot of dog.
I watch him, and you watch Luna, and that's a great connection to have.
Yeah,
so we're going to wrap it up. Anything you'd like to finish up with, Mike?
All I want to say is how great it has been to be in Broken Arrow today. I got to spend some time on your main street. I am in awe of the incredible work you guys have done. That is the most beautiful main street. So good job on that, and look forward to coming back soon.
Well, we were blessed recently to have USA Today recognize this as one of the most charming main streets in America. And that was a lot of hard work by the City Council, our Chamber of Commerce, EDC, Wes Smithwick, who's the president of our chamber, a lot of local citizens that put together the comprehensive plan for downtown. And so we're very, very blessed to have the support of the community, and we're glad you enjoyed it. So I want to thank you for coming, Mike. Hopefully I can get you back next fall and try to get you into Broken Arrow a couple of times a year to just talk about what's going on, because I really think under your leadership we're going to continue to move forward as an organization and make sure the board gets the word out about all the great things that we're doing into the cities and towns, and just make Oklahoma as great as we can make it. So I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, that's it. I want to thank Mike Fina for being here today. I hope that you learned a little bit about the Oklahoma Municipal League. It's a very important organization that the city of Broken Arrow is a part of. So until next time, take care, and I hope to see you around town.